Hey, and welcome back, everybody. It's a fun filled Saturday night here because middle age. But anyway, I wanted to make a video for a few things. We've really got to cover the outline today, and we're going to do a demo, which I think will be useful. It's my favorite, I think, most useful part of the lecture that we'll do for this class. And before we do that, though, I wanted to talk a little bit about what we've just done, what we're going to do, and then sort of what's next. So let's start with the assignment that was just due, which was the topic and sources information. So uh, don't before you minimize me or whatever, turn it off. Just really understand it's so important that you watch these videos. I know I'm not the greatest thing to look at or the most, entertaining content that you've ever heard. But you're going to do so much better if you watch the videos, right? So, the assignment that you just did, you were supposed to tell me about your topic and your sources. There was a worksheet, two-sided, that was in the course pack that you were going to use to talk to us about your topic and your sources, and then you were going to submit the worksheet, in print or type virtually, whatever, email or posted, so that I could read it and then watch you give your presentation. Majority of you did exactly that. So this isn't for everyone. But some folks didn't either use the worksheets, which the syllabus it said to do a bibliography. Okay, some of those weren't complete. The journal name wasn't listed, for example, for the peer-reviewed journal article. Um, Probably at least 10 folks between two classes would say, oh yeah, this was a peer-reviewed journal article, and it clearly wasn't. I mean, there was some problems, really. And what is more, a lot of the videos, I know you made your videos, most of you, but there was, again, at least 10, 12 people that uploaded the entire .mov file to Blackboard, and that doesn't work. I mean, sure, it technically works, but not for us because we've talked about this, right? So you're going to upload your stuff to YouTube or your G Drive from your GVSU email account, and then you're going to get a shareable link, and you're going to post that link in Blackboard discussion page, and that's what I'm going to watch. Our computers are overworked right now as it is, and I just don't have the memory on this thing to download, 15 huge .mov files when I make movies like this or videos like this all the time. And I've got those stored on here, so I just can't do them like that. So make sure you're following those directions that are in the syllabus. Again, it's step by step how to do it, and why we're doing it. So make sure you look at that. Also, with your turn it in, like the outline, or I'm sorry, the worksheets, most of you used a Word doc. Now, the syllabus says explicitly to use a Word doc. It doesn't say anything about a PDF. It doesn't say anything about Google Docs, and that's for a reason. Number one, PDFs, my Adobe is sometimes it works great, sometimes it doesn't, and I can't type on it to give you feedback for each item, as I want to. So that's why I don't like those. And then Google Docs, yeah, they can work fine, and I think I probably had 7 or 8 of them, total, and that's okay, except none of the 7 or 8 had the permission set where I could edit. Right, so it was like a PDF. There was nothing to type on. So again, I don't tell you to. I don't give you these sort of arcane. Make sure that you're doing this exactly this way because I think it's best. It's really so that we can have a smooth experience, and so just try to follow that as best you can because be honest with you, I mean, I didn't grade the videos that weren't turned in. I just didn't. It was like I didn't get a video. So, we talked last time when you did your intro video, there was some posts about, hey, you didn't submit it right. You've got an extension now. Go back and do it right. And there's still some issues. So make sure you're fixing that as we go forward. Now, out of that part and going to the actual content, it wasn't bad. I mean, the topics were all acceptable. There were no topics that I said, no, you can't do that. There were some that were a little bit strained, maybe to fit with these audiences or our specific audience, but it would work. And so I think you did a pretty good job with that, absolutely. And then the sources, for the most part, were good as well. Just remember that there are assignment details in the syllabus, right? So let me just shrink myself for a quick second. Right below the schedule, you'll see all the assignment details. So like here, all of this was about the assignment that you just did. So, and then if you think about, oh, well, it doesn't say anywhere in there that we had to do the upload and post the link and all that. Well, that's because right up here, recording policy, and that's where it says all that, and it gives you the step-by-step instructions. Okay, so it's in there. You'll see your own feedback. I posted that directly onto the discussion post that you made. I just responded to it, and if you gave me a Word doc, I typed most of it on the Word doc and just said, here my comments are attached. If I couldn't do that for you, I just posted it right there. No grades were posted that way, so it's not a FERPA thing. It's still private, but your grades have been entered on Blackboard, so you can see that. Again, if it was a video that wasn't watchable because it needed to be downloaded, then it didn't count, right? So there's half of that. It's worth 10 points. So no video means that's 5 gone. And then the others were, did you have the right kind of sources, right? So there was supposed to be, most of you did this, journal article, statistic from a good source, and then a news article. And so if that was all there, you're probably fine. But if not, you want to think about little things that can make a big difference. Okay? Great. Now, one last housekeeping thing before we move on to this week and do the important stuff, and that is right here. I posted this on the Blackboard page, but right here, you'll see that I screwed up, and I have Monday 9/24, Monday 9/28. This is one week that I, for some stupid reason, divided into 2, but it worked out fairly well because we really don't have much going on that we need to worry about. We're going to do the outline demonstration today, and we'll make a separate video for informative verbal and nonverbal delivery. And we're not going to worry about this informative outline group assessment. That wasn't for a grade anyway, and that will still allow us to keep this where it's at. So on the end of the week of the 10th, or sorry, the 5th, 10/5, your informative speech will be due. So this doesn't change. Nothing changes with this. That's your speech lab visit, the second one after the tour. You should have already done the tour by now. That deadline is passed here. And your speech will also be due that day. So you'll need to go to the speech lab, work on the informative speech in some way, and add your speech up by the end of that week. Now, for this week that we're in, what's due is the informative outline. And so what I can do between, this coming Thursday when you turn everything in and this Thursday, which is 1 week, is give you feedback as quickly as possible so that you can practice effectively. I don't want you to practice something that's not, accurate or correct, so that you're practicing the wrong thing multiple times. And I do want you to practice, obviously. So I'll get that back to you as quick as I possibly can, which shouldn't be a problem to get it to you by the end of that weekend. So make sure that you're keeping up with that. Now, beyond that, I think all we need to do for this video now is do that demonstration. Just that little thing, right? So this is what we're going to do. I have let me shrink this. I have the outline posted on the Blackboard site, outline template for all class speeches. This is the one. If you open that up, you're going to get this. And let me zoom in a little bit here. here so we can all see the same thing. Move me around to the margin. And remember, this is exactly what we looked at last time when we talked about, the one with the red font type all over it. That was explaining what these things are. So what I want to do tonight is make this video. Now look at the clock up here. It's 9:53 p.m. on a Saturday night because it's good times around here. So we're going to kick it up a notch even further. And we're going to have a complete outline, including a run through of the speech before an hour passes. So before 10:53 p.m. hits. Okay. That way you can see that you can do this if you just follow the outline. I know it may take you longer the first time or two because it's new, and that's to be expected. I've, of course, used this for a very long time, but I just want to show you how things can piece together if you just let it sort of flow. And there's not a lot of extra work you need to do to make that happen. All right, we've already wasted a minute. Let's get to getting here. First thing we need to do is pick a topic, and so I don't have anything scheduled or pre sort of made up. Let's do top news topics today. We're gonna see probably Supreme Court or something. Let's see. Oh, this is an ad. Sorry. Oh, Boomer. Let's go down here. Okay, we've got Supreme Court. We've got U.S. could see second wave. Alex Morgan's transfer to the English club Tottenham may shape women's soccer. That's interesting to me. Okay, what about this? Proud Boys rally in Portland draws only about 200 after City braced for thousands. I want something a little more light. I don't think there's going to be anything light in the news right now. Well, I know what your topics are, so I don't want to do anything that you are already doing. So let's do this. Let's do, okay. Chinese Americans look to new platforms. WeChat future remains uncertain. So the U.S. government wants to ban new downloads of TikTok and WeChat. And so what we're going to do then is do an informative speech on the situation. Now, in the persuasive speech, we'll go ahead and take a side on that. But remember, this is important. This is the one thing I type the most on your information that you just submitted and then I turned around and got it back to you was be careful not to be inadvertently persuasive in the informative speech. By the end of the informative speech, we should not know how you feel about this particular topic. I mean, we might have a hint, but we shouldn't really know where you're at. Okay, so let's talk about this one. Now, all I know is my topic right now, and I'm going to go ahead and jump over to the attention getter. And I know I'm going to be talking about TikTok and WeChat, something along those lines. And you may not know this, but there is a TikTok account out there. I think the name is Nini Weenie Bobini. She works at the Speech Lab. We got over 1 million views with a TikTok video that I was in where I gave one of my consultants a haircut. And that's my claim to TikTok fame. So I'm gonna use that as my attention getter. It was a slow day at work. The crew was sitting around wasting time. Someone started showing, TikTok videos to the others. Then one had an idea. What if we got, I'm just going to put TikTok famous today. Everyone laughed. And then all at once realized, why not? Soon One, what do we call him? One crew member, we'll call him member, was sitting in a chair with her long hair draped over, draped. Draped over the back, while another stood behind her with children's safety scissors, true story, ready to give his first haircut. That's it, right? So I'm gonna start the story. I'm stopping the story. And now I'm gonna move on and get to the rest of this. So, my name's Carl, and today I'm gonna tell you about U.S. government opposition to TikTok and WeChat. That's that one. By the end of this speech, you should know why. Let's just say know more about the TikTok WeChat situation in America. I honestly don't know a ton about it besides what we're going to find out. Now I'm going to pause here and I'm going to say two things to you. One, the attention getter, you see that I used a story. Remember, you don't have to use a story. You can use questions. You can use whatever you want. I'll just leave it there. But you could include questions with a story. You can mix and match. You've got options. Go back and watch that video or see the notes on the outline. The other thing is that since we're here at the thesis statement, we are going to skip this. Remember, this is the last thing we're going to do. So we'll come back to it. One other thing with this, the attention getter. If you're going to tell a story, again, if it's for this speech or for the next one, I advise you, see in the outline, you don't have to write out the entire story, but I advise you to write it out somewhere. Here's why. I mean, I've been teaching for a long time, and I'll be honest, I'm a dad, middle-aged dude. I tell the same jokes sometimes over and over. And in some classes, they hit great and people laugh, and it takes me, 2-3 minutes to tell the joke. In other classes, they bomb, and it might take me 30 seconds or 10 minutes to tell the joke because it varies. And again, I'm experienced with this. So you want to write things out, if for no other reason, to time it, to see how long you're going to take, to make sure you stay in that time frame. All right, but this is good for us today, and we'll skip that. Now, why would an audience, you, care about a speech on TikTok or WeChat? Most of you have, or I was saying have, a TikTok account. If not, you are familiar with the app. Also, this is an issue related to free speech in America, and that is something we all have a right to express. Okay. Main points, I don't know. Let's do a little quick research here. Now, remember, we're going to go ahead and jump over to, let me pull back up our syllabus for just a second here. Informative speech. We need 3 quality sources, and one needs to be a peer-reviewed journal article. The others can be whatever, as long as they are credible. And this is 4 to 6 minutes. That'll be important later. Okay, so let's look at this one. What is going on with this? We're here. NBC News is a good source. Back in April. Okay, so we know that a lot of Chinese folks use WeChat. In my Harvard class I teach students actually in China that are going to Harvard, and we use WeChat. They don't have access to a lot of the basic stuff we do, like Google. Federal judge temporarily put the brakes on it. Okay. Let's see. 1 billion users, most of them Chinese speakers. This is all good stuff. Examine misinformation. Okay, so this has got good stuff in it. I want to leave this open, but I also want to get this. I feel like this is going to be important. And little things matter. So I'm going to go back and I'm going to open this in a new tab. I hope. Okay, sometimes it hooks up to my TV for some reason. It doesn't work. Judge Early Sunday stopped the Commerce Department. So now we know the Commerce Department wanted to do it. Okay. So in order to WeChat users, they have shown serious questions going to the merits of the First Amendment claim of the balance of the hardship tips in the plaintiff's favor. Okay. So we can use that. Now, we still haven't answered the basic question. Why did they want to take it out? Why do, let's say, why does Trump want, yep, hey, shut down TikTok. There you go. Let's see what this is. I'm not familiar. AS. Sure. Let's just click and see what we've got here. Oh, they've got Premier League scores. I like that. Oh, this may not be an English publication. Oh, this one is. AS English. So this is going to be a Spanish publication. Is there an about? Oh well, work smart, not hard. Again, this is not a research class, but if you can find things easier, let's do it. So we're going to get an ABC News article. It says TikTok will be shut down unless a deal is made. This will tell us at least why he doesn't like it, I hope. Adding the brand, name is hot right now. Trump said it's a great asset, but it's not a great asset to the United States. TikTok has 100 million Americans. Good, we're going to use that. Threaten the app exclusive authority and been security concern with his Beijing-based parent company, ByteDance, but has softened his position. Well, that still doesn't tell me much about. It's a big problem here. Company said it and ByteDance have provided. No, that's not it. Okay. Let's just see what we get when we do ByteDance. ByteDance. Let's go to news. Again, I don't mean to insult your intelligence by pointing out the obvious, but I also don't want to skip over anything that might be helpful. So, I just went straight to Google, and then up here I'm clicking news because that's what I'm looking for. Okay, here's where things stand with the messy TikTok deal. Request to stall downloaded ban. I just want sort of like ByteDance problem. Let's see what we've got here. No thanks. Correctly identified the problem presented by Chinese social media. Proposed solution does little to protect national security and would establish blah, 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 blah. So, okay, Chinese tech tools acceptable to Chinese government control and abuse are deeply embedded in the lives of a million Americans. That presents a real national security threat. Okay, that's what I thought. Just wanted to make sure. Okay, so now we are going to come over here and we're going to think, what do we need to talk about? Well, we need to talk about TikTok and WeChat. We need to talk about the situation, we'll call it. And then we'll need to talk about the future, or let's say the possibilities. And there's, of course, when everybody's watching, you can't type. There's no right or wrong way to necessarily do your main points. It's just a matter of what logically makes sense. And so if we're talking about, the government wants to get rid of TikTok and WeChat, then okay, first of all, make sure everybody knows what we're talking about, give you a little background. Then why do they want to get rid of it? What's going on right now? And then what could happen in the future? And that's good. I mean, it's 4 to 6 minutes. Don't overthink this. Please, God, don't try to tell us everything about your topic because it just won't work. So let's transition in to begin. Let's talk about two popular, we'll call them apps in question. Main point one, TikTok and WeChat. Wonder how we could divide that one out. TikTok and WeChat. Now, we don't need a division C, so we're going to cut that. But we will need at least a 1 and a 2 for both, because we'll want to have some information on there. So, again, we don't have to cite every single thing. Some of this we just know, right? So we might say something like TikTok is a popular social media app that allows users to post videos. Here's a good moment. So just because I don't want to have to struggle with my wording, watch. Let's do. Is it? Yeah. Okay. It's all K's. TikTok. And if we go over here, Wikipedia. Now, don't cite Wikipedia. We know what TikTok is, but it's going to ideally give us a useful way to describe it. So, Beijing-based internet, blah, blah, blah. It's used to create short music, lip sync, dance, comedy, and talent videos of 3 to 15 seconds and short looping videos of 3 to 60 seconds. Okay. Now, the beautiful thing about Wikipedia, we can get it right here, and here's probably a decent source. TikTok music, what is this one? Play.google. TikTok, this is Slate Magazine. So if we needed to cite this, we could. Now, I'm not convinced that we need to. I think we really could just say that allows users to post short videos of dance trends, comedy, voiceovers, let's see, challenges, I guess. Maybe I missed old challenges and more. Fair. I just like things to line up. Let's move that over, and now we should be, that will get out of the way. There we go. 2. Currently, there are, now we got to look up how many users. I think we have that somewhere already. Oops, what was that? 19. That's WeChat. Okay, so we got WeChat. Let's just go ahead and put that in. While we're here, WeChat has an average of 19 million daily active users in the United States. But then somewhere we saw there was 100 million total. So we're gonna use both. Well, let's just use the United States. Currently, there are about 19 million daily users of WeChat in the U.S. according to a NBC News article from earlier this year, I'm sure. Yep. NBC News article from earlier this year. Great. There's one source in. Let's go back and find what we were looking for with TikTok. TikTok, probably right here. TikTok is loved by 100 million Americans because it's a home for entertainment, self-expression, blah, blah, blah. TikTok spokesperson said in a statement Monday night. Now, here we've talked a little bit about primary and secondary sources, but since this person doesn't have a name listed, I'm going to do it like this. So an ABC News article. Great, no problem. So let's just mix up our citing style. According to a TikTok spokesperson, quoted in an ABC News article from September of this year, TikTok has, what was the number? 100 million Americans. Has about 100 million users in America. Great. Now, for you, you can do this however you want. I like to point out to myself where my sources are. So I'm going to highlight that. Then I'm going to highlight this one so I can see. Helps me keep up with what I've got. WeChat. Okay, so WeChat is a very popular text service that is used in America, but widely used in China. Again, we don't need to cite that. We just know that's the case. Great. So now what you could do is put in your, so we've got ABC News, we've got NBC News. Now you can do that, or you can highlight, or you could do both. Again, this is all up to you, but there's slots for however you want to do it. So now that we know more about TikTok and WeChat, we can start to understand why both are in, what's the word we want to use? Why both are hanging by a thread in America right now. Okay, so let's say U.S. government versus TikTok and WeChat. Okay, so we've got to break this into two parts. And we don't want to get too far ahead of ourselves, because down here we're going to talk about some possible outcomes to the dispute. Really? Oh, for some reason this thing just switches over to French sometimes. I think it just likes to make me look stupid, so it'll underline everything. So with that, we could talk about, was it Microsoft purchasing it? We'll see. So up here we could say fear of spying, basically. And we'll come in with a little 1-2. Proposed ban. Come in again with a little 1-2. Again, there's no limit on how many of these you can have as far as the 1s and 2s. I just listed up here so you can start it. Proposed ban, and then judge stops the action with a 1 and 2. Great. So the fear of spying, we saw that somewhere up here, right? That was, here we go. That's all we need to know right there. I tell you what, let's just take it, copy it, and we're going to post it. Now this is from the Washington Post earlier this year, of course. Yep, September 24th. So let's jump back over here, and destination formatting, Chinese tech tools, da 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 da. According to a Washington Post article from last week, or well, at that point when we were giving the speech, maybe last week, quote, security risk, blah blah blah. Good. I want to make sure they didn't quote somebody. No, that's good. Okay, so we've got the Washington Post article from last week. I'll deal with this in just a second. Sure, why not? Let's jump this guy up. Security risk. This means that the government fears that China could spy on Americans by activating these apps without their knowledge. Fair enough. Now, proposed ban. Let's see what we need to know about that. Ban the app to executive, blah blah blah. September 15th is the point it's going to be out of business. It'll close down September 15th unless Microsoft or somebody. Yeah, okay. President Trump stated that, President Trump wanted to shut down the app by September 15th unless it was purchased and controlled by an American company. That date came, and the proposed executive order would have banned new downloads of the apps from Apple Store and what was it? We saw that somewhere here. It was the Google version of the App Store. I would know what that is, but I don't have an Android. I'm a real person. Shout out to all the Android owners. Somewhere we found that. Let's see if we can do this. So I'm going to do a quick search. Take that out and put in Google. Not in that article. Not there. What about Google in here? Nope. What about Google in here? Oh, we got something. Aha. Apple and Alphabet's Google to remove this messaging app for downloads. Okay. So let's rephrase and say download of the apps for Apple and Google devices. Yeah, fair enough. And we'll spell proposed right. Little things. And then Google devices. Judge stops the action. So this is it. NBC News. September 20th, early Sunday morning. Fortunately, we can just pop to the calendar here and see what day that was. This came out on the 20th, and we look here and we see, okay, that was Sunday, so that was the same day. And it's this person. Yes, order. Let's just copy that. According to the same NBC News article from above, a judge blocked the executive order on September 20th, just before it went into effect. And then paste. Perfect. Trucking right along here now. Okay, so again, work smart, not hard. We've got all the sources we need except for a peer-reviewed journal. So let's go ahead and fill out this transition. Now that, remember, you got to go all the way to the top. Now that we know more about TikTok and WeChat, as well as the current situation with those apps in America, we can finish by looking at at least at two possible outcomes to the current ordeal. Possible outcomes to the dispute. Microsoft might purchase it. We know that. Purchasing and the government is likely to drop its opposition. Or, here's what we need now. We need something about the First Amendment. So what we're going to do is we're going to go to dvsu.edu/library. Let's go to databases. Again, we talked about this before when on this finding sources video. I'm just going to slice around here and go to Academic Search Ultimate. As I mentioned on that video, this is my favorite. And stupid law password. Okay, sure, thanks. Let's see. We want TikTok. And then we want First Amendment and search. We only have 26 responses. That's wonderful. We want scholarly and peer-reviewed. Takes us down to 5. Okay, sweet. Personal data vulnerability, constitutional issues with the Consumer Privacy Act. Terrorism, digital news, techno transplants, minimum technology standards for law school graduates. Let's see what this is. Hopefully, it's searchable. I don't think it is. Oh man, that stinks. What about, let's jump back for a quick second. Whoops, too far. Let's go here, see if we can get it in any other format. We're just gonna have to download it, I suppose. Journal of the Legal Profession, Spring 2020. This is the stuff that a lot of folks missed on their last assignment, so note where that is at. Okay, full PDF. We'll go back to this. And hopefully we'll have the option to download it when it finishes. Ah, right there. Now let's see if we can search it. Nowhere, so okay, so it's got searchability, but TikTok's not in there. Let's see if there's anything that might work though, since we're already in here. I don't think so. Alright, work smart, not hard. Let's get rid of this guy. Let's jump back. We want, you know what, let's make sure that, 2019, 2020, so that's strong. Let's see what this is. Cambridge Analytica scandal. You know what, let's just do TikTok. 70. Okay, foreign languages. So now we may need to make sure that we are only getting English. Not because others aren't as good, just because I don't have the ability to read them. Multivariate analysis, traits, female ducks. Okay, yeah, that's TikTok, isn't it? I feel like some of this is not TikTok, but some of it could be youth in Pakistan. Humor camera view. Okay, now here we go. Where are you? You're right there. If you find yourself in this situation where you're not finding anything exactly on what you need, we got to get out of that. We got to think outside the box. So we're gonna get rid of TikTok, and we're gonna say social media. First Amendment. Let's see what we get. We're going to get a bunch. 37,000. Okay, we've already got this selected. 1925. Let's bring it up to it's in the last year. 6,000. It's a popular topic right now. Okay. Let's do, what about China? If we add that in, what does that do for us? Okay. Vision prior restraint, the end of an era of social media. Ooh, we might be able to use something here. Chilean law review. Let's do our PDF again. Now, I don't expect you to go through and read every single article, but if you can find sort of the abstract and read that, it's great. Or in the introduction here, we're going to be in good shape too. And he knew tensions between him and Donald Trump would come to a head. However, it wasn't until he returned to the White House that evening that Acosta learned his privileges had been revoked. Yep, I remember when that happened. So what does it have to do with what we're talking about here? So, government attempts to control speech, such as a regulation or an executive order. The United States Supreme Court has held that those actions require review under the strictest scrutiny, meaning that the action may proceed only if there is no other way to advance a substantial government interest. And now, look, they've got that cited for us. Citizens versus the Federal Election Committee. To prove this. Okay. But it's not a direct quote, so we're going to use it from here because this is their version of it. We don't need all of that, though. Let's see if we can just grab a piece. Bring it back over here. Match destination. Go back and get the rest. What in the world? Whoops. Looks like this has gone to the wrong spot. That's okay. Microsoft purchase. Purchasing. That's what you do for cats. Okay, so now we've got our A and our B. We don't need this. And now we need to cite this. This is Tulane Law Review. What was the year on this guy? 2019. 2019. So I think what we could see there as an outcome would be one. This means that the executive order could be tied up in court indefinitely. And two, election could erase the problem. So Joe Biden probably wouldn't feel the same way. So, conclusion after here. Oh, sorry. Let's do this guy. Bam. After hearing this speech, you should. Let's go back up here. We've already done that once. But at the end of this speech, you should. That's all we need. Don't overthink it. Bring it down. Pop it in. Just like a little puzzle here. Plug and play. We're going to skip that thesis. We're going to come back to these main points. Main points are copy. Here. Closure, we're going to finish that story. You may be wondering what sort of TikTok fame our crew from earlier in the speech fell into. Well, the haircut was recorded mixed with a song from the musical Hairspray and sent out to the world, where I think it was 1.8 million people saw a GVSU Speech Lab consultant getting her hair cut by her professor boss. Just when you thought 2020 couldn't be stranger. Okay, now review thesis. Clearly, okay, we need a thesis statement here. So we don't know. Remember, we do not want a list. We don't want to say things like, okay, so understanding TikTok is important because it helps you understand the current situation and what might happen in the future. That's not it. Remember what we talked about before. You can go back and find your favorite movie on IMDb, and it will have the basic thesis statement for that movie there. It doesn't give everything away. So I might say, and again, there's tons of different options here, but I'm going to say things like social media and politics have let's do this. Social media, politics, and global espionage. I don't know how to spell that word. Yeah, they gave me a PhD. And global espionage have finally collided, and the outcome might be millions of dancers without a place to show off their work. again, it doesn't have to be super serious. I mean, it can be, but we're gonna have a little fun with it here. Oops, get the whole thing. Come back down. Notice I've got the word clearly here. Watch. Clearly, social media, politics, and you'll see how that works in just a second. So let's make sure we've got everything we need source-wise. There's that. Great. We've got our transition. There's a second source, third source. We are golden. Okay. If you look at the clock up here, it's 10:38, which means we've been working on this for about 30 minutes. And we're done. More or less. What I'm going to do now is give you a very quick sample of how this might sound. And the reason I do this is because A, I shouldn't ask you to do anything that I can't do. And B, I want you to see how this does really flow together if you just follow the outline. You'll notice that I will add very little sort of ad lib in between these statements that I already have up here. So it just turned 10:39. This is a 4 to 6 minute speech. Let's see if I can be done at 10:44 or just at 45. It was a slow day at work. The crew was sitting around wasting time, and someone started showing TikTok videos to the others. Then one had an idea. What if we could get TikTok famous today? Everyone laughed, and then all at once it was sort of like, well, why not? Soon one crew member was sitting in a chair with her long hair draped over the back, while another stood behind her with children's safety scissors, ready to give his first haircut. What could go wrong? Hi, I'm Carl, and today I want to talk to you about government opposition in the U.S. to TikTok and WeChat. By the end of this speech, you should know more about the TikTok WeChat situation in America. Social media, politics, and global espionage have finally collided, and the outcome might mean millions of dancers without a place to show off their work. You should care about this topic because most of you have a TikTok account. If not, you're familiar with the app. Also, this is an issue related to free speech in America, and that is something we all have a right to express. My main points today will be TikTok and WeChat to explain what they are, to talk then about the situation at hand, and finally to talk about the possibilities for moving forward. So to begin, let's talk about two popular apps in question, TikTok and WeChat. TikTok is a popular social media app that allows users to post short videos of dance trends, comedy, voiceovers, challenges, and more. You're probably familiar. Now, according to a TikTok spokesperson that was quoted in an ABC News article from September of this year, TikTok has about 100 million users in America. To put that in perspective, there are about 320 million people in the country, so it's about a third of Americans. WeChat, on the other hand, is still very popular. It's a text service that's used here in the country, but it's very widely used in China. Right now, there's about 19 million users of WeChat in the United States, and that's according to an NBC News article from earlier this year. And again, many, many more in China. So now that we know a little bit about TikTok and WeChat, we can start to understand why both are hanging by a thread in America right now. So the US government has a fear that TikTok and WeChat can be used to spy on us by the Chinese government. In fact, a Washington Post article from last week says, quote, Chinese tech tools susceptible to Chinese government control and abuse are deeply embedded in the lives of millions of Americans, and that presents a national security risk. So this means that the government fears that China could spy on us by activating these apps without our knowledge. So in response, President Trump proposed a ban that would shut down the app by September 15th, unless it was purchased and controlled by an American company. There was some talk of Microsoft doing this, but the date that was proposed, he would have not banned TikTok and WeChat, but would have banned new downloads of the app for Apple and Google devices. But a judge stepped in and stopped it. There was an injunction. And according to that same NBC News article from above, the judge blocked the executive order on September 20th, the day before it went into effect. According to that article, U.S. Magistrate Judge Laurel Beeler in San Francisco said that, she said, quote, have the WeChat users have shown serious questions going to the merits of First Amendment claim and the balance of hardships tip in the favor of the plaintiff, meaning there was more at stake by way of the First Amendment of shutting it down, people's rights being infringed upon, than there was at stake by leaving it open and risking spying. So now that we know more about TikTok and WeChat, as well as what's going on right now, let's think about two possible ways this thing could all play out. First of all, Microsoft could purchase this app, or one or both perhaps, and the government will likely drop opposition. That was what was proposed by the president already. However, whenever there's a case like this, the Tulane Law Review in 2019 tells us that the government, whenever they attempt to control speech, such as a regulation or an executive order like we have here, the U.S. Supreme Court has held that those actions require review under the strictest scrutiny, meaning that the action may proceed only if there is no other way to advance substantial government interest. This means that the executive order could be tied up indefinitely. And also, it's important to note, while that's being tied up, if we have a new president as a result of the election, this whole thing could go away and the problem could be solved. So, after hearing this speech, you should now know more about the TikTok WeChat situation in our country. Clearly, social media, politics, and global espionage have collided, and the outcome could be those dancers without a place to show off their work. Today, we talked about TikTok and WeChat, the current situation, and possibilities for the future. Now, you're probably wondering what happened to our TikTok crew from earlier in the speech. Well, the haircut was recorded, mixed with a song from the musical Hairspray, and then sent out to the world, where about 1.8 million people watched. They saw a GVSU Speech Lab consultant getting her hair cut by her professor boss, just when you thought 2020 couldn't be any stranger. All right, clock, 10:44. It's going to 10:45 right there. We said if we can finish it right at 10:45, we're perfect, and that was about 6 seconds early. So, again, I know I've done this a lot, but this is a new topic, new information, and I went off script here and there, but nothing major. So what you should do then is get your outline in this form, time yourself, maybe a little more precisely than that, and see if you need to add or take away, slow down, speed up, play around with that to see where you are in terms of the time limit. However, for this week, remember, what's due this week is not a perfectly timed speech. There's no video. It's just this. It's just seeing that you've got everything in. But, if I get a 5-6 page outline, I know it's not going to work. So I want you to get it close to what the final product would be so I can give you the best feedback on that. Okay, so to quickly review, the work that you turned in from last week is up. It's posted. Check that out. Get your feedback. If you have questions, let me know. This week, you are going to get this outline together. So you've just seen how that might work in less than an hour. Again, you may have a varying time, but it's still doable. And so I don't want you to work, harder than you have to on this. I mean, put some time and effort into it, do it right. But, it's not something that should consume you. Make this look how you feel comfortable. Just follow the outline. You can, again, add as many 1s and 2s and B's and C's as you want. Just remember, if you have an A, you have to have a B. If you have a 1, you have to have a 2, that kind of thing. And let it flow, right? It's designed to be user-friendly. So don't forget that. This isn't something that's made to test or trick you. It's made to help you. And beyond this class, you can take this wherever you go in the future and use it when you give a presentation. So with that, I'll say to you, have a wonderful Saturday night like I have. And it was fun spending it with you. That's a lie. But I hope this works out well for you. Again, if you have any questions at all, you let me know and we'll figure those out. At the end of this week, turn in this outline and I will give you feedback as soon as possible. Take care.